Well, my friends, I sure miss meeting with you face to face this year for our fall banquet, but we're thankful for technology. Last year we came together and celebrated the past and embraced the future. The theme of our banquet was such a time as this, very appropriate for this year. We're carrying on in such a time as this with continued perseverance. In March, you need to know that your Central Alberta Pregnancy Care Center just adjusted, responded very well, and just pressed on. We continued to serve. We serve the men, women, families impacted with an unplanned pregnancy and its effect in a compassionate, loving way. We continue to care for our moms and babies in our maternity home. Our team of staff went up and above with the new challenges to continue to care with great compassion and love. And that's all because of you. We've been blessed with your support. Some of you have been able to carry on. Some of you have had challenges, but you need to know that our God is faithful and nothing has changed. We are meeting the needs of our community. We've had some exciting opportunities. We've become innovative and we've embraced the change. One of the items that we were able to do during the season in the spring is to embark on a new journey with an organization called Fundraiser. We were able to spend some time as a team of staff and leadership to take the training, to learn new ways to have healthy conversation around the issue of abortion. Removing barriers, building bridges, and the divided opinions. So I'm excited to introduce to you a good friend of mine, and I had an opportunity to bring her to you via a small interview that I had with her. Enjoy. An exciting day, and as I mentioned, we've had the great pleasure to make some new friends across the border, and we are excited to what lays ahead. And today I just want you to hear from my friend Angie, CEO of Fundraiser. They've done some amazing work, and we just look forward to what lays ahead for us here in Central Alberta and the rest of Alberta. And we just pray to God that it will have an impact across Canada as well. So Angie, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about your background and what Fundraiser is all about?
Sure. Well, Anne, it's been a delight to get to know you and the rest of your team this last year, because actually my background is as executive director of our pregnancy organizations. About 15 years ago, I started leading one in Chicago and immediately was faced with tensions. The tension of how to talk about our work in a way that didn't become divisive because of politics, and actually the tension of looking inside at some of our practices and saying, is this really how Jesus would be interacting with women and their families if he were here today? So that led us on a journey actually of changing our practices and how we did outreach in the community, having new conversations, and ultimately wanting to see churches become a safe place to provide support and really grace for women who are impacted by this. And that's when we launched Fundraiser, actually, as a training organization to equip Christians through local churches and pregnancy organizations with this new approach.
That's so awesome. You know, for us, we just feel so blessed to have cross paths with you. And we did use this last season of things of change to take the opportunity to take on the training. Mm-hmm. And just tell us and explain a little bit more what is your hope about the training and what's going on here in Alberta and how that's going to serve our community.
Yeah, well, the ultimate vision of Fundraiser is that when Christians have a grace-centered response to abortion, then we can create a third option to the pro-life, pro-choice divide. We can more fully reflect God's heart and we can start to create these supportive communities for women and children. And it really all starts with pregnancy organizations like yours, because you are the parachurch organization started by churches. You've been on the front lines for decades. And that's why we focus on training pregnancy organizations to be the light in their community and to ultimately engage their churches in this new approach. So that's why we love working with you guys. We see what you're doing on the ground. You're so integral to this change that God is bringing.
That's awesome. We're excited. We've already benefited so much from the training, and we just look forward to not just through this event right now, but just ongoing throughout the year to just continue to have conversations with our community of all walks, our agencies, our churches, and just equipping everyone to, like you say, have better conversations, have a greater impact in the issue. And what I love, what I've learned so much from you, is the ability to express unconditional love and grace to men, women, and families impacted by an unplanned pregnancy, its effects, and even after an abortion.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful work. We're thankful. We love what you do, and we're blessed to have cross paths, and look forward to sharing more of you in the future with our community as we grow our relationship. So thanks again to you and your team. And like we always say, one conversation at a time.
Yep.
And God's heart will be revealed.
Yep.
And we'll have a great impact. So thank you and blessings to you and your team.
Thank you, Ann.
Why did God create pregnancy? He could have chosen to bring life into the world any way he wanted. But his design is pregnancy. There's really nothing else like it, where the welfare of two people are so intertwined that it's impossible to help one while bypassing the other. But instead of respecting God's design, the political debate divides us into two camps. One focused on the needs of the woman, the other focused on the needs of the child. What we need is a third option, because somewhere in the middle of this debate is a woman and a child with real emotions and real needs. And if those needs go unmet, she often feels that her only choice is between abortion or overwhelming struggle as a mom. At current rates, more than 1 in 4 women in America will have an abortion by age 40. And the rates aren't that different between those who call themselves Christians and those who do not. That means there are thousands of women in our churches who have or will face an unplanned pregnancy. This may sound unbelievable because you've rarely heard this from women at your church. But isn't that proof there's a problem? Because for many women, the church is one of the last places they would turn to for help. But there is a way we can change this, if we are willing to look inside first. What if there was a third way for Christians to respond? A new way to think about this issue, aligning with God's design of pregnancy so that we value both the woman and the child equally. A new way for us to talk about this issue, using language that communicates God's grace and builds bridges, not walls. And a new way to act, responding with grace the way Jesus would, so that our churches become safe places where both women and children can thrive during and after an unplanned pregnancy. God has a pathway of hope for the issue of abortion, and it's us, it's His church. When we embrace a new way to think, talk, and act, we release His grace, bringing His third option. Join the pro-grace movement today.
Well, my friends, the work must go on. Thank you for your faithfulness and your support over the years. We ask that you continue to consider supporting us. For those of you that have been in our banquets before, you were able to support through the silent auction, which is now online. So please go to our Facebook page or to our website to contribute towards those wonderful items that we have been donated by generous sponsors. Or if in the past you've sponsored tables or made donation, please consider to do so again. And the work will carry on. And we'll carry on having more conversations, and we'll carry on having a great impact, supporting with compassion the men and women impacted with unplanned pregnancy and its effect in a loving, gracious way. Blessings to you all until we meet again.